Hi everyone, I'm Sharon Fradkin and I'm the host of Get Fresh. And we have with us Laura McDougall and Carlos Vargas, whom you've seen before, hopefully. And they're both cooking today and I'm helping as well. And today we're going to do yummy veggie desserts, an easy way to get in some vegetables for you and your family. So what's first, Laura?
Well, Sharon, you've been asking me about spaghetti squash and
love
what to
it.
do with it. And a lot of people know you can use it as a pasta substitution.
Right.
Most of people think of it as a savory kind of thing. I'm making a dessert today.
Thank
so
you. Thank
just
you,
to
thank
show
you.
you. So this has been microwaved. I find that's just really the easiest way to cook your squash.
How long do you think?
This one took about 12, 13 minutes for this
Okay.
size squash. It will vary, of course, based on the size of your
That's
squash.
a good size squash, though.
Key is you got to stab it really well before you heat it, or it does explode and makes a huge
Aha,
mess.
so
Sort of
please remember
Halloween.
that.
We're past
Stab
Halloween.
it so it won't explode.
Yeah. So
I mean, this
you
is
want
a
it
squash
so it's
that a lot
soft.
of people want to cook with and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, and it's fabulous. So cut it right down the middle. Cut it in half. Where'd my spoon go?
Oh,
Bless
excuse
you.
me, folks.
Bless
Sorry.
you. And then you see there's some seeds in it. So
Right.
you're just going to scoop out those seeds.
You know, sometimes recipes that I've read for spaghetti squash will say, take out the seeds and some of the strings. And where do you stop? Because it's all strings.
All right.
I think they do that just to make sure you got all the seeds.
Make sure
to
the
be
seeds
honest.
are- Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, because you want to use
'Cause
as
I
much
just
of
thought,
it as
what are they
possible.
talking about?
So just, yeah, they do kind of hide in there a little bit. So you want to make sure to get them all out because you don't want the seeds.
let everybody see
Yep.
what that looks like
Yep.
inside when you get a minute.
So we've got most of the seeds out of this half. And it's called spaghetti squash because as you see, as you just scrape it,
Stringy.
it gets stringy like spaghetti. Maybe you can see that very well.
I have
But it
a
looks
sad
like
story
spaghetti.
to tell you all. Many, many years ago when I went to Weight Watchers, one of the recipes was pasta. I think it was called spaghetti and sauce. And it was spaghetti squash
Yeah.
with some kind of and everybody in the room went, no, don't even try to sell that as pasta. But now,
It's
spaghetti
really good,
squash
yeah.
bolognese is a big recipe.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it has a wonderful flavor and it certainly gives you the texture, but it's missing the carb factor, that like doughy factors really. But I tell you, if you have it, it is really good as a
Yeah.
nice option,
I
especially.
often ate it just by itself with a little bit of maple syrup or a little
Absolutely,
bit of cinnamon
absolutely.
sugar.
So in this bowl, I have a little spelt flour. It's what the recipe called for, but you can use AP flour. It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
That's all-purpose.
So all-purpose,
Okay.
yep. Sorry, all-purpose flour. A little.
And I use gluten-free.
You can use the gluten-free baking mix too, of course. We have a little ginger, a little cinnamon, baking soda, baking powder, and allspice. Want to make sure I got all my ingredients
And just
in
so you
there.
know, that recipe will be online as well on Stoughton Media Access Corp. So you'll know how much of each of those things to.
Now this
Can I help
recipe,
with this one?
I think
Just
we
half?
just need 2
Okay.
cups for now, so
Okay,
let's
yep,
see
looks
where
like
we go
there's
with
2
that.
there, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to go too much in this one. You
Sure.
can just wrap up and have for dinner.
Bolognese.
There you go. So the recipe that is online is for a vegan version, which uses flaxseed and water. It's a vegan version of egg. It's an egg substitute. I'm going to use real eggs for this recipe because we're not doing vegan today. So we're just going to add 2 eggs. Whoops, careful not to get the shell in there. It's kind of show off, wasn't it? with
Yes,
my
it
hands?
was show
Sorry.
off.
Well done.
And get the
Oh,
eggs
nice.
mixed.
Well done.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just get them kind of beat in there. And
With all
to
the
this,
dry ingredients.
yep, to this we're going to add a little coconut oil, which is the
Coconut
big
oil.
new rage
Now
now.
that's thick, huh?
It actually is a solid. I just melted a little bit, about
Oh,
30
it's a
seconds, just to soften
solid.
it up.
That's interesting.
So mix that in.
So why is it a big rage? Benefits
Because
of
it's
health?
supposed to have a lot of health benefits, yep. A lot of people are using it in place of oil. And then a half cup of the maple syrup, which of course, you know, this time of year, it's always nice. We have it for our pancakes.
All through winter.
Good with the squash, and I think that's our sweetener in this particular dish. So we're just going to mix that up and around, get all that flour incorporated. You don't want to over mix it, but you do want to get it incorporated. You don't want a big lump of flour in there. And then once we have all of that mixed in, we're going to get 2 cups of our squash. Oops, we missed a seed. Get out of there. And the problem with spaghetti squash is it's like spaghetti. It's a little
Yeah, a little
unruly.
difficult to handle. Correct.
So that's about 1 cup.
You just about get
So
2
just
cups
about
in
the
there,
whole
too.
half.
Just about
sure.
a half, yeah.
And if it's a little bit extra or a tad under, it's not going to really matter. One of the important things about cooking that I learned over the years is you can be a little flexible. I've seen
that'd be
people
what?
use recipes and they're
thank
so
you.
afraid to vary at all.
Yeah,
And you
like the
can't.
baking, the dry stuff and the
Right,
wet, you do want to
right.
get that baking is a little more
Right.
important, but the squash, you could go a little bit extra. So you basically want to incorporate that in. So kind of like when you do carrot cake or anything, make sure it's
you
well
hold that up?
distributed. And then I have a buttered 8-inch baking pan here. Oh, you can smell the cinnamon. I don't know if you're
Oh, yeah,
getting that.
absolutely.
It smells really good. This is going to be one of
Smells
these
like
make
the
your house
holidays in
smell
there.
wonderful baking. And then we're just going to dump that in there. It was pretty easy, huh?
Now, earlier in one of our shows, you brought butternut blondies.
Yeah.
And those were delicious little kind of blonde brownies, not as dense as brownies, made with butternut squash and a kind of
Really
a cakey
moist
feel.
and wonderful.
Very, very good. And we did put that recipe up. It was back
Thank
a few
you, sir.
shows.
Pleasure.
So Sharon, if you would just drop that in the oven, it's a 375
Absolutely.
oven. We're going to go 25 minutes. See if it, make sure it's baked through. You want it like a cake, use your little tester. So I'm going to start my timer over here. And while that's baking,
go.
Carlos, you're doing some pears for us?
Pears two ways. One is pears with Tawny Port or Ruby Port. And I prefer Ruby Port because ruby is red and the pears just take on that nice redness. And then the other pear, and you can use as much as you want. It's the typical thing. I usually do about a half a bottle. And you can
Take a
throw
couple of those,
cinnamon
Laura.
in there. You can throw a little bit of vanilla extract in here as well.
Excuse me.
And I'm just going to throw in about a teaspoon of it, of vanilla
He doesn't need
extract
to
in
measure
there.
everyone.
I don't measure
He's
anything.
that good.
No, I'm not. I just don't measure anything.
Oh, so that's not
There it is,
good.
there it is.
Then we don't know what we're eating.
We don't. No. So then, if you wouldn't mind just starting to peel
Yeah.
those pears
You
for
want
me,
to
that
cut
would be
them in
great.
half? Is that what
You
you're
can.
going to do?
We
Now,
we
tell them
definitely-
a little bit about sickle pears versus other
sickle pears, I think I only see them at this time of the year.
Yeah,
right?
we don't see them all the time, no.
And they're really
Give that to Laura.
flavorful and delicious. And the other,
They're kind of nice to make the individual size baked
Yeah.
pear if you wanted to use them for
These are
that.
fairly hard, and some pears are quite soft. The sickle pears are harder.
These are hard. They're gonna. So then, and the other recipe is about a quarter to half a cup of maple syrup. I do my thing here. The butter, please. Thank you.
Yep.
And in there goes about a tablespoon of.
Maple
butter.
syrup and butter, though, right there. You've got a good combination.
They're delicious.
Right, almost anything with that.
So this kind of starts to do its goodness, turn down the temperature a little bit. You want this to reduce to a syrup, and then this one is already a syrup. So and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in half. Ooh,
Okay, I just need to
And-
core this better.
yeah, I'm gonna core out those centers. The only thing I need is a knife. Do you have a knife there?
I have a big one.
I'm sorry, a spoon. Sorry.
Oh,
Spoon.
spoon.
You know,
I
that
think
one
it-
would probably be good to core.
Perfect. Yep. So what I do is I just scoop out the centers here.
We left that job for Carlo.
Thank you so much. Oops.
Slippery little buggers.
Now,
That
this
goes
is,
in here.
other than what you're adding to the pork, it's a dessert that's dairy-free, well, except for the butter, and,
But you could
You
use
know,
a
it's the
vegan margarine.
kind of thing that
like
was-
a Twin
Yeah,
Balance
you know,
or
it's
something.
gluten-free, it's really easy for people to eat. And
Absolutely.
to serve at any kind of dessert and almost with any kind of dinner. Would
It's
be
so
great with the-
elegant, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorite desserts, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
And I make it only in the fall because that's kind of when you see all the different pears and stuff out there.
Yep. I think, too, you know, a lot of people are watching their weight, or after the holidays, people realize they ate way too many gingerbread men or whatever their goodies are. This is a nice way to have dessert without feeling too
Absolutely.
guilty.
I usually throw a little vanilla ice cream.
I was
though.
just going to say, unless you had the ice
So
cream.
you're putting them face down in the pan.
I am putting them down face
3
down.
in each pan is what we're doing
Yeah. Just going to
today.
reduce this a little bit more.
Okay, well, that's good because it gives us time to core it out.
That's right.
Oh, I
sorry.
am sorry.
My fault.
Are you adding any sugar or anything to your
I
port, or
don't.
is
I
it sweet
don't.
enough?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's got the, and the ruby port is sweeter than the tawny port, I
Which is what
find.
this is, yes.
Yeah,
That is true.
and it's,
One
this
One
Good,
is
do we
more
need
has a
more?
core.
Yep.
You got it? Okay.
I got it. Thank you.
That's an interesting spoon. Is got a
It's my
measuring
it's my measuring spoon.
Right. I have like a.
I do
a kind
use
of a-
measuring spoons.
I have a kind of a ridged melon baller thing that I use sometimes to scoop out
That would work
cores.
really great, especially for the bigger pears too, if you can't get the Seckle pears.
I'm
Right,
just gonna grab a pair of tongs.
okay. Here we go. These are looking good, and it's
Oh,
just
it
one of those
smells so good.
easy, healthy kind of desserts. It's not loaded with whipped cream, with, pastry.
Yep.
And this just kind of does its goodness here, just keep rotating it. I'll sometimes throw this into the oven at like 350 for 5 or 10 minutes.
Just to finish them up.
Yeah, and if
So
I'm,
notice the difference in color. Hopefully you can see that. The Tawny Port makes them kind of reddish, and the other is the maple syrupy looking.
Yeah, kind of
It's browner.
glazed and
Right.
red.
yeah,
more
exactly,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and ice cream or a mascarpone with
That
a
would
little
be
bit of
really
honey.
good,
And,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Some of these?
You
And
gotta put
these,
top pecans.
the pecans will go on afterwards, but I think I've shown
Right.
this before, how I'm one of these people that doesn't like to do a lot of dishes, but I don't mind doing dishes.
Yeah.
So instead of getting out a chopper or something, I just put them in the bag
It's a great way to do it.
and
A rolling pin would work really
yeah,
well on that
yeah,
too.
exactly.
All right, a rolling pin would be
Rolling
excellent for
pin would be a
that
great
too,
thing.
absolutely.
So you just kind of let this do its thing.
So we want to talk about, go ahead. You want to just let it sit while
Yep,
she talks
exactly.
about
Yep,
her
that'd be great.
next? So,
I'm just gonna
okay, so we've
continue
got.
to
work. Yes, of course.
We've got pears 2 ways, we've got a spaghetti squash cake.
Yeah.
And now we've got
Mashed potato candy. So
candy.
Mashed
some
potato.
houses there's not leftover mashed potatoes, but if there's a house that has a lot of mashed potatoes left over, this is a great way to make a sweet out
And
of it.
inevitably, any kind of family dinner, no matter when it is, there's mashed potatoes.
Sure,
There
sorry.
is, there is. So I'm going to use I have some mashed potatoes. These just had a little bit of milk and a little bit of potato. I didn't put the butter in, but the butter wouldn't hurt this recipe by any stretch.
So you
If you have
boiled
the
a couple
garlic
of
mashed potatoes, don't do
No,
that.
don't do
No garlic mashed potatoes in this,
Just
just
plain
your
old
straight
mash.
up. So these are cold, so they really get, your hands in and work
And
with
it's
it.
important to have it cold, so it really is easy
So you
to
can work with it,
yes.
yeah, more than anything.
Right.
And
And
then
you're
this
adding-
is just powdered sugar.
So confectionery sugar is being
Yeah,
added.
which a lot of us have at this time of year.
And it
So-
makes it kind of doughy.
Yep. And we're going to just kind of mash this in and get it so that it does start to look like a dough. Now, for about a half a cup of potatoes, we may need as much as a pound of powdered sugar, so there is a
Wow. So what's the
lot.
calories in that, dare we look?
Well, it is candy.
It is candy, okay, so 1 piece. or
You know,
2
it
max.
is candy. That's
Right.
true. You're not going to eat the whole thing.
I mean, kids are funny too about vegetables that they'll eat, and white things, they seem more likely to eat.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know, but I
Yeah.
have grandkids, they look at white food, okay, I'll try that. They look at something green, I don't think I want that.
It's so true.
That's it.
It's so true. So we really need a bigger bowl, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
do you want one? I have one.
If you do, that'd be great.
Yeah,
If
there's one
one's
right here.
handy.
Here you go, you pass that.
You need the right tools sometimes to do the right job.
Pears are looking wonderful.
They are, they're
No, it
feeling
looks like
soft.
these maybe will cook quicker than in the other, the port may do something.
Yeah, probably, maybe some sort of chemical going on there.
Right.
Well, the alcohol will help kind of soak in and.
Yeah.
And just so you know, we're giving a bonus recipe on the Stoughton Media Access website, which we're going to show you and cut for you soon.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
Okay, I won't ruin the surprise, but it's a cake and you're going to love it.
So confectioner's sugar.
So yeah, we're just mixing that in. And then once we get this up to a kind of a dough consistency, which is going to take a little bit of time. You want to add your powdered sugar a little bit at a time, so
Could you color these if you put some food coloring in?
Why
Have
not?
a little blue,
Makes
little
you
red
happy.
ones, little, for fall, for February, for
why not?
St. Patrick's Day. I see that coming.
That's right, March, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do
you go.
green.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do green. That would be cute. We could have fun. And I have a feeling this is something kids might like making. Maybe they
Yeah,
won't eat it,
absolutely,
I don't know,
yeah.
but they might think it was fun.
The
Absolutely.
dentist will
Now,
love you.
a lot of times people, chefs, cook with their hands. And is that a better or easier way to
It's a
get
good way to
this?
feel. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's definitely a good way to feel. I'm going to dump a little bit of the potato part out just to shorten up the mix time here. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out. Hopefully it comes together. We're going to roll this out. And then we're going to put a little bit of peanut butter on it.
Ooh,
Peanut butter. Everyone loves peanut butter.
absolutely. So mashed potatoes and sugar so far.
Mashed
And that's
potatoes
it.
and
That's
sugar.
it.
And
Yeah.
peanut butter.
And
That
peanut
is
butter on
it.
top.
And I know there's a version with flaked coconut.
You can do coconut in it as well, yep.
And you can be
if you prefer
creative.
that.
I mean, who knows? Could you spread on jelly? Could you spread
Yeah.
on, what do you think?
Yeah, I like
Almond
the,
butter,
I like the
you
coconut.
Yeah,
could do
almond
chocolate
butter,
maybe in
cashew.
between or something, little
yeah,
chocolate
chocolate.
chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options for what you can do to make this interesting.
So we're just going to continue to add in our sugar here, get this nice and thick. Takes a little bit of time, so be patient with it. Carlos, how are those pears
They're
doing?
coming along, I think. I feel them. They're
They
real
look
nice
wonderful.
and soft.
They look very good.
You know what I didn't bring was vanilla ice cream. That would go so
Oh, vanilla ice cream, of course.
good. So good.
Always good.
Or
A little fresh whipped
believe,
cream
and
would be
You can
really
do yogurt on
good.
that. You could probably do a
Yogurt?
little whipped cream if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could do yogurt with a
Yeah.
little vanilla
Yeah,
in
you
it
could-
mixed in, or a little even
no,
orange
sugar,
zest or something would be good.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
There's our
Ruby-
dough.
Ruby port. Thank you.
Here you are.
Yep, thank you.
So some of that apparently cooked off, so you're
Did-
adding a little more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, that's great.
So there's our dough. It has finally come together.
Wow,
It does take
see
a
it?
bit of powdered sugar.
But don't let that worry you when you're eating it,
I know.
because you're only eating one. Can they see that a little better, Laura?
Yeah.
'Cause the consistency of it?
It's very thick. You do
Yeah.
want it very thick.
You need muscles
you wanna-
when you're cooking in the kitchen.
You're going to
But
want to
then
roll
it is
this
like
out a
kind of
little
a piece
bit.
of dough.
Yeah, exactly. So then we're going to take some peanut butter. Just wipe my hands off here.
Yeah. Do you need something clean?
I'm good.
We have
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'll just do a small little piece to show you, but you'll get the idea.
Yeah, so they can see how to lay it down at least.
Oh my goodness. Get that out of the way.
So basically, this is like any dough. You know, it's almost like pizza dough.
Yep. And then we're going to, let me just grab a spoon. We're going to take a little bit of our peanut butter.
Is that chunky?
It is the chunky. You can use smooth if you want. I like the chunks.
Yeah.
We all know chunky, chewy, crunchy.
Right.
So just a nice little smear like that.
And again, that can be coconut, that can be jelly, that can be marmalade.
It could be anything.
Listen.
Start to take
And
these
you're
off.
basically going
Surely.
to roll it.
Yeah.
You're going to want to refrigerate this for a little bit. Just let it come together a bit. You can dust it with a little extra powdered sugar. It's like when you're baking, you need flour for your
Right.
dough, kind of the same thing.
Oh, so it's just a nice little kind of tubule roll.
Plus it gives it a nice little appearance.
So while you're doing that, Chef, I'm just going to, I've taken the pears off. I put in about 1/4 cup in here. Let that reduce a little bit.
It smells so good.
I know, it really does.
Oh my goodness.
Want me to take this away?
No, I think that's just going to reduce that a little bit.
Okay.
And sometimes when I get fancy, right?
Oh, fancy.
I get fancy.
Oh, you fan it out.
I do.
So you're gonna
I
fan
do,
it
I
out.
do,
Look
I
at this.
do get a
You'll
little
see how
fancy.
they did
Fanning
that?
out the pears.
Yeah,
How
fanning out
beautiful.
the pear, but just need a little bit more work.
That's okay. I think you did a really nice job. So you're not quite all the way through to the core,
Right.
but just up to the tip,
That's right.
like the top of the pear.
And
Very pretty.
Excellent.
You made that look so easy.
first time making it easy. That'll look easy. And then,
Okay.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
yeah. So what I'm
They're
going to do is
beautiful.
I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to pour it over here.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, my goodness. How
Yum.
delicious is that? Can you see that?
Yum, yum,
Yeah,
yum.
the delicious pears with the maple syrup and the pecans.
Cons. And I'm
this
just
would
going, and
pour
then
that
this
over
just
the
puts
tawny
over
port.
here. And a little bit of scoop of vanilla.
Oh, they
or
got nice and thick, beautiful.
We wish we had the ice cream or yogurt to show you,
That'd
and
be
look
great.
at that. These are beautiful. And you know, you could do them both for a table and put them down and let
I was
people
gonna say, on a
choose. Some
buffet, it'd
people
be
don't want the liquor,
gorgeous.
they can have this, the other way around.
Oh my
And I was
goodness.
looking at your candy
Yeah,
and
so-
thinking, wouldn't it be great to have little colored sprinkles on
Well,
top?
You could do
on.
that,
Add a lot to it, right?
absolutely, or
Yeah.
do a wider roll and then roll it like a jelly roll. But you
Right.
can see there's like a little, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little bullseye of peanut butter in
Yeah.
there.
Right. So
Those
you
look
could
delicious.
definitely jazz it up with some color.
So you put it in the
Absolutely.
refrigerator to get them hard?
Yeah, just
Wait.
let them firm up a little bit.
I have a
Okay.
great idea, peanut butter and jelly inside.
Why
Oh.
not?
It's a sandwich.
Why
Yeah,
not?
that'd be
It's a
great.
sandwich.
And Sharon, you talked about that little surprise that we
Okay,
had.
so we do have a surprise for you.
Chocolate cake.
We want to move, just put it here.
You're saying,
Just so
okay, but
people-
it's a
Yeah.
vegetable
Look,
recipe,
and look at that beautiful
right?
fluted
I
pan.
smell
It
the
looks like a
chocolate, yeah.
flower.
Yeah,
That
but
smells
it's not
delicious.
just chocolate, guys.
It's not?
It's not. There
What
are
is it?
beets
Can I
in
get a
that
good shot of
cake.
that?
Beets?
Beets.
There are beets
Nice
in that
big
cake.
red beets.
Yeah, so it actually gives a little bit of red color to it, ever so slightly, not quite
It
like a
makes
red
it deeper
velvet.
though, yeah.
Gives it a really nice dark flavor to it and adds
Adds-
like wonderful nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And
stuff.
then
it
we're
adds a
just
lot of
gonna glaze
moisture.
it.
It's a way to get kids to eat something like this that has beets in it. And the same with the butternut brownies.
Yeah.
You know, a way to kind of mask a little bit on the vegetables. Now that's your chocolate glaze.
So we just a little glaze, it's a
And
little
that
butter,
recipe is also
bittersweet
on
chocolate,
Stoughton Media Access on that recipe.
and a little corn syrup. We just
Delicious.
melted that together. Let
See
it
more
cool a
colored
little bit
sprinkles
before
coming.
you. Or nuts, you can do nuts.
Yeah,
on
nuts
this.
would be good. You can do coconut, you can do anything on
Anything
that.
on here, yep. Or so you can do little candied beet chips. I didn't get a chance to do
Oh,
those.
right.
So you slice beets very thin, and then cook them in a sugar syrup and just let them kind of cook down, take them off, and that sugar will firm up the chip, so you get a nice sweet beet chip.
Now, do they sell, I mean, those kinds of things are on sale now. I mean, there's kale chips, I think I've
Well,
seen
there's
beet
snacky
chips.
kind
Snacky,
of beet chips,
right.
which you could use, but they're not going to be sweet. You
Oh,
could
I
dust them in
see.
sugar, I
I see.
suppose.
Yeah.
But then the true sweet beet chip would be cooked down in sugar.
I mean, that
So
could be
either
a
one.
birthday cake. There isn't
Oh, that's so
anybody
pretty,
that
yeah.
wouldn't think it was a great birthday
I know.
cake. I mean, you could frost it regularly if you chose to.
Absolutely.
Put a few candles in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all
So-
singing, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
Every
Can I
kid
borrow
around the
your knife?
table is
Sure.
eating it and has no idea. I'm not telling you to fool your kids, but still.
Let me have your plate. I'll cut this open so you can see the inside of it.
Okay? There you go.
There you go.
Oh, that looks
what
so
a-
moist.
So it's really, I
delicious.
mean, it's
All right.
still nice and dark and beautiful.
So this is a cake also, we'd like to have a little scoop of
Wouldn't-
vanilla
vanilla?
yogurt or
You
ice cream.
could do
or-
that.
Yeah, that would be
You could do
great.
that. And we'll have just a few minutes and our other cake will be out of the oven and we'll show you that as well.
So we took a little break and we cleaned up a little bit and we're going to finish up with the cake that's been in the oven.
Let's go check it.
Okay.
So this is our spaghetti squash cake and it's been baking for about 28 minutes. Should be done. My very fancy tester.
Well, you do have to stick something in and see what happens. Oh, that
And that
looks
came out nice and
perfect.
clean, you can see. So that's ready. There we go.
Here we
Nice,
are.
oh, did you smell that as it came by?
Delicious.
Yeah, it smells
very,
delicious.
There we
very good.
It's got a nice cinnamony, kind of buttery kind of flavor.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, would you put like a kind of cream frosting on that? I'm
Vanilla
Nope,
ice
I'd serve it
cream?
just
Vanilla
as
ice
this little
cream, yeah.
powdered sugar maybe.
I know.
So it's
I
still-
just picture it sort of carrot cake-ish.
You know, why not? I mean, I guess you can,
Right.
but
I
you
know.
keep it simple.
I'm always looking for
Sure.
how to add calories. Thankfully, Laura is looking how not to add calories.
Well,
So
sometimes
we
things are
work well
good just
off
as
for one
is.
another.
So you really should let this cool a little bit, but for the sake of the show, we want to show you inside. The first piece is always the hardest,
It
right?
is. So just take out the second piece.
Get
That's
in there.
tricky. You need probably a better server. Thank you.
There we go.
Ooh, that's warm, yeah.
That is nice and warm.
Oh,
So
that
now's the
looks
time for the ice
Don't
cream.
even
Right.
see the, yeah, no squash in
So
there.
you can see the squash a little bit if you can get a close-up of that, but not overly obvious.
I'm going to get a fork. Wait 1 second.
Sharon, I think you should taste this for sure, since you're so curious about the spaghetti
Spaghetti
squash.
squash, here you go. There you go.
A little
Okay.
powdered sugar would be nice on that. You could do ice cream, whipped cream. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Sure?
Yeah.
Mmm.
Careful though. Really
Very
hot.
moist inside.
Wow, so light.
Very
like
moist.
that?
Very light, very moist.
And you
Great.
taste all the
The
spices.
spices, yeah. So
Right.
nice warm spices go really well. It goes
And
great
I
with
do
the
think
squash.
the powdered sugar would be nice. Also, as you say, the yogurt, the vanilla
Ice
ice
cream.
cream would be nice, but a cream frosting could work too.
Yeah, you could do a cream cheese frosting if you
And
wanted
could sprinkle some
to.
pecans on the top
Yeah,
after.
or whipped cream.
Whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of options. So we've done a lot of different things today with desserts and
Wow.
yummy vegetables. We've done the beet cake that we showed you.
Wow.
We've done the spaghetti squash
Really
cake.
good.
We did the potato
Thank you.
roll-ups.
Yeah.
The pears look beautiful. Everything
They
looks
were.
wonderful. We hope you have a very nice winter. Enjoy yourselves, and we will be seeing you soon. Thank you.
Yeah.